Let's talk about Shedeur Sanders quickly, the quarterback coming out of Colorado. He's not going to throw at the NFL Combine this week. Your guys' thoughts on that?
I think it's smart. I mean, you look at the projections. I mean, how much higher can Shedeur really go? I mean, I feel like, you could go there and have a great workout and do this and do that. You don't have a ton of room to move up. You have a lot of room to fall. And, I've talked about this with opting out of bowl games. We never get mad at people for making smart business decisions in other realms of business. But it seems like in sports, if they don't go do everything, somehow that's a knock on them. I can turn on the tape and realize Shedeur Sanders' arm is strong enough. I can turn on the tape and realize Shedeur Sanders is mobile enough, whether it's in the pocket or outside of the pocket, to play in the NFL. So I don't need to go get that reinforced by him just going and putting himself in a position to maybe fall. So I know there's some people that are old school that aren't going to like it, whatever. I think it's a smart business decision because you have a lot more to lose than you have to gain.
Well, I'm such a fan of the quarterback position. I just like to watch guys go throw the football, and that'd be great for us. We can come in and break down the tape. But to your point, one, if at the Combine, they're not going to throw with shoulder pads or a helmet. Yep. One, how great of a look are you already getting? And then two, Shedeur Sanders' greatest skill set and what he brings to the table was already shown on the football field, which is where you should judge a football player. Whereas if you have someone like Anthony Richardson or someone like Jalen Milroe is the type of guy who could come in here, maybe throw the football 80 yards through the air and get you to move him up on your draft board, that would make a little bit more sense. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is going to be doing something like Anthony Richardson did or even Will Levis. Like we always talk about, Will Levis throws one of the best fastballs.
Dave. Remember Zach Wilson?
Zach Wilson got paid so much money off that one throw. I don't know if that was at a pro day or at the Combine, but Will Levis, if you go watch Will Levis throwing fastball after fastball on slant routes, it's one of the most beautiful things you ever see. That doesn't necessarily translate to you being a great passer of the football during game day, which I think Shedeur Sanders is. Also, another part of this is this class being what I think is so weak.
And at the quarterback position.
I mean, I don't think Shedeur Sanders, if he comes out last year when we had 6 quarterbacks in the top 12 picks, would he have been one of the top 6?
I think you throw then. I think if
that's the thing.
The same class as
what's the line, right? If
you're
you were projected first-round pick, should you go do anything?
Well, again, if I'm an offensive lineman or anybody that's projected to go at the highest or at the high end of the draft, really, what do I have to gain just to solidify my position? But if you're somebody like Jackson Dart,
I was going to bring up
that people are like, well, man, this guy could. You have a ton to gain from going and running well, right, and throwing well and doing those things. But that's why I think it always helps you out when it's supply and demand, right? In this class, like you brought up, David, there's a lot of supply around the NFL for young or a lot of demand for young quarterbacks around the NFL. You look at some of these teams. We're going to talk about Matt Stafford and them a little bit tomorrow in locker room talk. But the supply's not really there, so you are even more valuable, right? When's the best place and time to sell corn? Well, when people don't have corn and they can't grow it really quickly. So at the end of the day, I think Shedeur is in the perfect situation. Yeah. All right, if you're starting a business or you're starting a podcast and you want to be able to keep the main thing, that's where our friends over at Shopify, where they come in. Because we know what's fascinating about starting a successful business today, like Gymshark or Cotopaxi. It's not about just having a great product or cool marketing. It's about what is happening behind the scenes. And the real game changer is often the business powering the business, making every sale seamless and simple. And again, you hear that cha-ching button. We got it over here on the soundboard. That means you've made another sale. That means you are making more money because we know that is the goal. They have the #1 checkout system on the planet. And you want to know their not so secret, Blaine?
Yes, I do. Tell me.
It's called Shop Pay. And it boosts conversions by up to 50%. That means way fewer abandoned carts and way more of you making money. So upgrade your business and get the same checkout companies like Gymshark and Cotopaxi use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/CRAIN. That's all lowercase. That's shopify.com/CRAIN to upgrade your selling today. Hit it one more time, Coach, so that people can hear it. Shopify. Let it electrify your business.
Quickly, I want to ask both you guys this, because I'm glad you brought up Jackson Dart, because this guy broke the all-time passing records at Ole Miss, broke Eli Manning's records, right? Another 5-star guy coming out when he went to USC, transfers in, plays for Lane Kiffin. What has Shedeur Sanders done on the football field that Jackson Dart hasn't proven on his game tape that he can also do? I mean, is this getting to a point where because of Shedeur Sanders' name recognition, because of his father, Deion Sanders, that sort of has propelled him up into a different echelon when it comes to draft talk, even though his game may be comparable to Jackson Dart? And Jackson Dart, we're sitting here saying, well, you should go throw so you can go up the draft board more.
Well, look, from a standpoint of us and people who follow college football and love college football and all this stuff, we've known who Jackson Dart is for a while. These scouts have known who Jackson Dart is for a while. But the hype behind Shedeur Sanders over the length of time when compared to Jackson Dart, I don't think is close. How many people, if I were to take just casual football fans and asked them who Shedeur Sanders was, would they say, yes, I know that, when compared to Jackson Dart? So, and people say, oh, well, that doesn't matter because the scouts and the GMs are going to make the decision. Well, the fans are the ones that give you backlash if you don't go draft the guy that they think is right. So I think Shedeur Sanders feels like more of a proven commodity. Whether he is or whether he isn't, in reality, that remains to be seen. We got to see Jackson and Shedeur's careers play out. But I think Shedeur has been so much more hyped for longer than I think it would. If Jackson Dart was going to move ahead of Shedeur Sanders, he's got to go prove it at a combine.
So if you're a team like, the Raiders are at 6. Obviously, we've talked about the Giants being at 3 or even the Browns at 2. But, I'm looking at these teams, even the Jets at 7 right now, Saints at 9. If you're one of these teams and you already value Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders, maybe you're calling and saying, hey, maybe don't throw. I know there was this thing in Little League football where I was growing up that if you already knew you wanted to draft one of these kids and you already knew how good they were, you said, hey, don't take him to the tryout day so all the other coaches can see him. We're going to get him in the 3rd round rather than have a 1st round. If you already value Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders, you don't want everyone else to be seeing that at Pro Day 2 or at the NFL Combine because you might get a steal.
Well, then on the other hand, if you're a team that may not be taking a quarterback that may want to trade back, you want Jackson and have one of those early picks in front of those other teams. You want Jackson Dart to go throw well because you want to add value to trading back to get him if the hype keeps going. But I think the example you gave of Jalen Milroe as a guy who needs to go there and run a good 40 and be strong and look more crisp than he did at the Senior Bowl, he probably has the chance to rise the highest when we look at the top, 4 to 5 to 6 quarterbacks. Should Kyle McCord go where, how well is Kyle McCord going to run?
That's another good
How
one.
many is he going to bench? Maybe he just needs to go throw. It's all circumstance.
But Jalen Milroe would go and be great at everything.
Yeah.
Like he's a type, he could go throw it 75 yards. He could go run 4.3 or 4.4. Yeah. He could go do 225 on the bench. I don't even know how many times, right? Like he would look great at every single thing. And then you'd put GMs in a position to say, how much do we value that? It's been valued before.
And again, we can talk about the athlete versus the quarterback, whatever. Lamar Jackson changed a lot of minds. Not that Jalen is Lamar.
There's just always something when you see, he runs 4.3, he can bench 225 25 times, he can throw it 75 yards. He'll be different from me.
Well, we can make that work.
He'll be great.
We can make that work.
Don't worry, we'll fix him.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? Appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't noticed, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're dropping new segments of our new show, Locker Room Talk. So make sure you're subscribed and keep up with that, as well as all the beautiful things here at Crain & Company Goes to College.